seconds to like and subscribe, or else don't risk it.
Reporting that there is an out-of-control bulldozer.
So we do have a dozer that's completely armored.
And you can't see who's driving or anything. What is your emergency?
Once I heard about this case, I knew it was one I wanted to cover for you guys. What happened here would be any small town's nightmare. A man built up with anger and betrayal, wanting his revenge on those who wronged him. His name is Marvin, and he would get just what he wanted. Grande Lake is a small town near the mountains and the location of today's case. A population of only 510 live here. Marvin Haymayer is one of those residents. He moved here at 38, falling in love with the town's surroundings and friendly faces he considered family. Marvin was a very skilled man with a passion for engineering. Marvin knew he wanted to work for himself and help others. In 1992, Marvin opened his own welding shop. Using his life savings of about $50,000, he bought few acres of land in Grand Bay. The first couple of years, things were going very well for him, making more than expected, and he was the best known welder in town. Marvin worked long days and late nights, rarely taking time off. He was doing what he loved, making an honest living and making new friends on the way. Marvin would eventually face some challenges when the property in front of him was up for sale and was in talks of being purchased. The layout for a concrete plant would block the path to Marvin's business, making it impossible to get to. Following would lead the Dozier family to bid for the property. They would go back and forth on the numbers. Allegedly, Marvin agreed to sell his property for $250,000. However, he later changed his mind, raising the once $250K up to $375K. Cody agreed to the $375,000 offer. Marvin would again change his mind, calling Cody back, saying $1 million for the property. Cody ignored this and communication broke between the two. That was until the city's own trustees approved the cement manufacturing construction without speaking to Marvin to finalize the deal. A few weeks would pass and Marvin would have no access to his business. He was furious at the town's decision and decided to take them to court. Marvin loved his business and was willing to risk it. Putting up $150,000 in an attorney was unsuccessful. This is just the start of Marvin's luck. After an unsuccessful attempt at winning back his welding shop, he invested in a bulldozer to create a new pathway to business, and he wanted to do it himself. After investing in a bunch of new equipment, the Granby government rejected the idea for a new pathway. The Granby government also fined Marvin. He was fined for what they quoted, keeping junk cars on the property and other various violations which were just a part of his business. At this point, Marvin could only give up. He was beaten down and worn out from all the stress this new building and the town hall's officials stopping any idea he had. Many months would go by and he would sell the property for $400,000 to a private buyer. The property's new owners were unlike Cody and gave him a few months to pack up and move out. Being great with his hands, he self-isolated, spending most of his time in the shed with the tools and the bulldozer, planning on his revenge.
So basically, had they not meddled in my business, this would have turned out, this whole thing would have turned out completely different. If they would have just left me alone. And the only person you have to blame is yourself.
Stop it! I can't.
Marvin's plan would take a year and a half to complete. He was turning his once bulldozer into a completely armed vehicle, fully equipped with gun ports, fans, monitors, and cameras protected by bulletproof plastic. Marvin was ready. June the 4th, 2004. Marvin finally put his plan into action. Marvin started his rampage by driving directly across his land to target his rival's concrete storefront. After this, he was off on the road. Once town-goers saw this tank-like vehicle, 911 calls began to come in.
So we do have a dozer that's completely armored and it is tearing down buildings. Let's get Liberty Savings and West Star evacuated.
It didn't take police long to spot Marvin and his bulldozer. Soon, police were right behind him, demanding him to stop. To no surprise, Marvin refused. Police and FBI agents returned fire with multiple guns ranging from shotguns to M4s with little to no success. Police were running out of ideas, and Marvin was still on his path of destruction, taking out Maple Street Builders and Mountain Park Electric before heading straight for the police station and town hall. Liberty Bank and the news station were next. As residents ran for their lives, the mayor declared a state of full-on emergency. As Martin rolled down the road, he spotted propane tanks, aimed his sniper, shooting several rounds in an attempt to cause an explosion. However, the bullets were striking his armor, forcing him to give up and head back up. Here, he would encounter a scraper machine, both heading towards each other, and tried to flee before Marvin caught up and moved him out of the way. Next on the list was the newspaper company that had written a report against him during the property battle. In the middle of taking down the Gables building, the scraper was back, blocking the exit, forcing the now failing machine to continue forward. Before he could make it out, the power of the machine had weakened to then eventually coming to a complete stop. As police moved in, it was clear that Marvin wasn't going anywhere. They shouted and shouted, demanding him to come out. In order to get inside, the bomb squad used sticky bomb explosives in an attempt to get inside with no luck. After using a special cutting torch, they were able to break off a part of Killdozer and finally got to Marvin. There, they would find the 52-year-old dead. Police confirmed he pulled out his revolver, put it to his head, and pulled the trigger. Inside, police would find machinable video cameras and 3 mini TVs Marvin used to guide himself as he watched himself destroy the town he once loved. In all, he caused $7 million in damages, destroying 13 buildings, and he lasted a total of 2 hours and 7 minutes. Shockingly, no one else but Marvin got hurt during the destruction. Marvin felt cheated and walked on. Marvin had big plans for the future. He wanted to continue running his business and wanted to start a family one day. With the town destroyed, costing millions to repair, multiple fundraisers and events were held to try and help pay to rebuild what got torn down. That's the story of Marvin Heemer. Let me know down in the comments section what you guys personally think about this. Was Marvin a good man who was only getting revenge on those in power and standing up for himself? Or do you think Marvin is entirely in the wrong? I look forward to seeing your opinions down below. Also, don't forget to leave a like down below before you go, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe so you never miss any kind of future video like this one. This has been CrimeFreak. I will see you guys in the next true crime video, and until then, stay freaky.